morning, and we start with someone who has an intimate knowledge of the Syrian regime. Ribal Al-Assad is the exiled cousin of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and he joins us from London, England, where he runs the Organization for Democracy and Freedom in Syria. Hello.
Yes, hello to you, Anna Maria.
I'm wondering what your reaction is to the clips we are hearing from this interview that Mr. Assad gave on the weekend.
Well, first of all, let me just clarify one thing. I think that before we go in and having any military intervention, which I'm completely against, we should first establish the fact. And we should make sure that the UN Security Council is on board and that they are, that not one party, there's no unilateral military action against Syria, because that would lead Syria and the whole region into a complete disaster. That would be the biggest disasters in modern history, I think.
Okay, and we hear your opinion on that, but talk to us a little bit about what you know about your cousin and the people who are around him and what they might be thinking right now.
I've said many times previously, unfortunately, nobody says Bashar al-Assad is not the one in control in Syria. He's not in control because he's not the one who has built that regime. He's the one who inherited the regime from his father. He didn't have time when he came in 1994, and he was catapulted through military ranks until 2000, when he got the highest military rank, to get any military experience. He didn't have time to place his people into high positions. He doesn't have any knowledge of the Ba'ath Party. So it's very naive from the international community to believe that Bashar has any strength or any decision in Syria.
Even 20 years later?
It's not 20 years. It has been since 2000.
Well, you said 94.
Yes, but 94, I told you, it was just his preparation time when he got brought back. We were studying in the UK. He got brought back and catapulted. He was in a training time. 6 years to train someone to give him, the reign of a country at 2000. I think that shows how little experience he has.
So you're saying he's a puppet of someone else?
Of course, he's a puppet of people who have inherited also that regime, who had interest in that regime, the security services mostly, who only agreed, on having Bashar because he would keep their interest in place.
And so who is pulling the strings then? Are there specific people?
All the heads of different security apparatus who were always competing with themselves, under Bashar's father, and who continue actually to compete with themselves. But as you know, if we look back at when the uprising started, people in the street were chanting slogans against Bashar's cousins, against the corruption, but nobody really was going against him because they didn't know anything about him. And those people knew very well that if Bashar moves towards any democratic changes or any, towards that road, that they will be the ones paying the prices. They will be the one losing their interest, and they will be the ones who would be brought to justice. Like, for example, Rami Makhlouf, his cousin, who owns all the Syrian economy, who controls all the Syrian economy. His brother, Hafiz Makhlouf, who's head of a very powerful security apparatus, who protects his brother's interest, like their cousin Atif Najib, who was the one who tortured those children in Daraa when the uprising first started.
And so how can you speak with such certainty? Why do you say that he has so little power?
Because just as I said, it's common knowledge. When someone comes to, when he's given or he's getting his training and he's brought back from London at a very young age, and as you know, in the military, and if you ask anyone who knows about military, you cannot just jump from rank to rank. You need to go through a process, and every year get a certain military rank. You cannot become from nothing, from no military rank, in 6 years get the highest military ranks in the military, and then because nobody would respect that. Nobody even in the military would respect your decisions. This is why I'm telling you, nobody even could be listening to what he says or what his orders are, even though he is the commander in chief and head of the republic, as a president of Syria and head of the Ba'ath Party.
So the interview that he just gave, how much of that is Bashar al-Assad speaking, and how much of that is what he is told to say, in your view?
No, I think he's really as I said, for what he said, for example, regarding the chemical attack, I really don't believe, and I think that there was a German report who said the same thing from the security services, that Bashar had to do anything with it. And this is why I said we have to wait until the United Nations investigator get the facts, until we are sure who used it, because as we know, both sides have the capabilities. There was a United Nations report a few months ago that said, that suggested that rebels could have used chemical weapons in Aleppo, in Khan al-Assad and other areas. There was also 12 people from al-Nusra group who were arrested in Turkey a few months ago, in southern Turkey, in Adana and Murcia, who possessed 2 kilograms of sarin gas. And so we know very well that both sides have the capabilities and both sides could have used it. So we have to establish facts before.
Well, but let's get, if you say that Bashar al-Assad is not actually calling the shots and other people are, if the U.S. wants to attack the regime, does it matter whether he's calling the shots or not? If they want to attack, to send a message to those who are calling the shots?
As I said again, I hope that this won't happen, because, as you know, those people have allies in the region. They have Hezbollah, they have Iran, they have Iraqi militias, they have Russia, who has threatened lately that it will help Syria if it's attacked, that it will send, if anybody is thinking about resolving the Iranian nuclear issue, President Putin made it very clear that he will give S-300 missiles or S-400 or higher missiles to other countries in the region, and I'm sure he meant Iran.
I appreciate that, but I'm looking for your insight into the Assad regime, not the Russian, not the Russian leadership. When's the last time you spoke to Bashar al-Assad?
Actually, I just met him once in 1994.
You've been exiled since you were 9, right?
Yes, I was exiled since I was 9, but I went back shortly from 94 for a couple of months, and then from 97 to 99 when they bombed their house in Latakia, after I had left.
But you still have connections to the people around him, obviously.
Yes, of course. We have a lot of connections in the military, in the in the Ba'ath Party, in all the communities in Syria, who of course have always wanted to move towards democratic changes, but they do not want to see a dictatorship replaced by a theocracy. This is very important for everyone to know.
Well, then why aren't those people getting Assad to reach some kind of a diplomatic solution as opposed to taking it this far?
Because they are, as I told you, there's differences. People do mix sometimes between the security apparatus and the military. The security apparatus are the ones who are the mostly corrupt. They are the ones who are really, were able to drag Syria into where we are today. The military was not involved from the beginning. The military, the security apparatus had to set the stage and make the whole scenario so that they would let the military come in and believe that they are actually fighting, Islamists or military, people who are militarized. And this when the military came in. And the military today, they're telling that we are not fighting for the regime, we are not fighting for Bashar, we are fighting because there are people who are, as you can see yourself on YouTube or anyone else, who are killing a lot of minorities, who are killing a lot of communities in Syria.
We have to leave it there. We have to leave it there, Ribal Al-Assad. Thank you very much. Ribal Al-Assad, cousin of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. He was in London, England, where he runs the Organization for Democracy and Freedom in Syria.